taking a break around the farm. I've had a few people in my life pass on in the last few days, and I've been thinking about it. As a pastor, I did a memorial service several years ago for a family. I didn't really know them. I knew one of them. I didn't know the deceased. And when I got to the funeral, there were only, well, it was a memorial, and there were only maybe 10 people in the room, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. And I did my part, and then I opened it up for other people to say things about the loved one, not really knowing what to expect. Seems the guy had been in prison for years. He had been a motorcycle gang member, drug dealer. He lived a rough life. He'd had kids that grew up without him around much. And then he died. And the first person stood up slowly, one of his daughters, and said, "Well, let's face it, Dad was an asshole." And I did everything I could to just sort of keep my composure. It's, literally it was someone else's funeral. I was just there to officiate. And one by one, people stood up and told me about what a horrible person this guy was at his memorial. Everybody sat back down, and I stood up again, and I said, "Well, we're going to close in prayer, but there's some unfinished business here. I think maybe you all need another chance to speak before we close this chapter." And the original daughter, first person, stood back up and said, "I have a stable, wonderful, loving family and home life because I vowed that I would have a different life than the one that was given to me." And she said, "And for that, I can in part thank my dad." And after that, every person who had stood up again, and they all talked about the strength that they had as adults because of the situation that they had faced when they were young. Now, does that make it right? No. But it is what it is. You have a set of circumstances, and it's up to you to make what you can of it. Anyway, when it was all said and done, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Everyone was crying. Everyone was healing. And I said the final prayers, and I got out of there. And for the next few weeks, I received phone calls from people talking about the healing that they had received that day. Why? Because no matter what we do with our lives, no matter what other people do that we perceive as being to us, God is good, and God is faithful, and God will take whatever you have and make it into something positive, something to benefit you, no matter what it looks like at the time. I'm Mark Archambault. I'm somewhere along the road, and it is a great day.